Welcome, welcome home. There is in this place the possibility of healing, of repair, of making things right within ourselves, between us and the wider world. We gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.
Thank you, Ashanti. Before we begin our service, we have some announcements.
Good morning, everyone. As Melba said, we have a few announcements and upcoming events this morning. Next Sunday, October 26th at Wedgwood, we have Jerry Kingsley from the Sierra Club sharing his message on some North Carolina issues on protecting the planet. And this past week, we had our October monthly meetup. We had a great time at Open Kitchen. So mark your calendar. If you missed it, you can join us on Tuesday, November 11th. We'd love to see you. We're going to try a new place, Mother's Comfort Food and Cocktails. We were all looking at the menu, and it looks really good, and it's down on Park Road. It's just a fun place to try. So we'd love for you to join us. We get together once a month for food and fellowship and conversation. So if you have ever been interested in checking us out, this is the perfect time to do so and meet everyone. We're a really great group, and we would love to see you there. And we have our Social Justice Book Club. We are continuing reading Grading Sweetgrass. We just had our last meeting this past Thursday. Our next meeting will be Thursday, October 30th. Please read through page 309 if you are following along. You don't have to be reading the book to join us and join the discussion, but if you would like to, that's what we're reading. And it's on Zoom, so you can join from the comfort of your own home. So join us. We are open to Wedgwood members and non-members alike. And there are a few community events. Our friends over at McMinn will be hosting their second annual Friendsgiving on Thursday, November 20th at Myers Park Baptist Church at 6 p.m. Should be a great time. And then on Saturday, November 22nd, our friends with the Catawba Nation will be hosting the Yapia Iswa Festival on their Catawba Reservation from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then on Sunday, December 7th, we will have our 4th annual International Holiday Bazaar supporting refugee support services. So come on out and join us. There's more information in the newsletter that goes out every week. Melba, did you have anything you wanted to add?
Yes, on the next slide, I believe.
Perfect. Here you go. I'll just let you do this one.
Thank you. We had a speaker last week from the Catawba Nation, and we learned that this administration has cut funding to their food pantry. They believe they have enough to get to June, but beyond that, they don't know. And then I learned just yesterday or day before that they were told they would not be getting any more money even between now and June as long as there is a government shutdown. So there are a lot of people on the reservation that are in poverty and need help. So leadership decided that we must find a way to help, and we talked to Becky, our friend, who is a member of the Catawba Nation, lived on the reservation her entire life. And we want to provide turkeys for their Thanksgiving. So rather than trying to collect turkeys and keep them frozen and keep them fresh, we are going to supply, there are 120 senior citizens on the reservation who need help and won't be getting any funds coming in. So we are going to take care of $20 gift certificates from Food Lion for those 120 seniors. There are about 300 more people who use the food pantry each week. So above the 120 that Wedgwood will provide turkeys for, we are asking anyone who can, if you're a member of a book club, an organization, a women's group, anything at all, ask people to mail to us $20 gift cards from Food Lion. Those gift cards will go to the person who runs the food pantry along with the person we are connected with, so that they can determine the families who are in the most need to receive those gift cards. So please help us yourself as much as you can and spread the word to any groups you can. There's more information along with the address for the church in the newsletter. But we really need to help these very, very dear people get through at least Thanksgiving. And then we'll go from there and see what we can do and if we can get any help and support from Rock Hill area churches. But thank you very much. And I feel really good about this project. I just feel like it is something that fell right in our lap that we didn't expect. And this is why we don't have a building, so that we can do things like this to help people instead of paying the cost of an upkeep of a building. So thank you. That's it, Liz.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Melba. And as she said, there'll be more information on in our this upcoming newsletter.
All right. Thank you and welcome to everyone. We are glad you were here. Our music centering this morning is One Voice. And thank you, Thomas Blanford, for sending this gorgeous, gorgeous song to me for us to use. And I think it's very fitting today as we're talking about immigrant rights. We are one voice. We are one people. Welcome to everyone. We are a church that not just welcomes but seeks diversity, not just in culture, not just in age, but in beliefs. We have so many different beliefs at Wedgwood, and we welcome everyone. This is a safe place to explore and ask questions about what you believe and change your mind about what you believe. So we are glad that you are here with us today. We want to acknowledge that the land that we are on is the unceded land of the Catawba Nation. We also want to ask you, if you're visiting, to put your information in the chat box so that we can put you on our connections, which is our newsletter list, so that you can learn more about Wedgwood. And also, I wanted to mention Shay will be back with us again next Sunday. When we hired Shay, he made it clear to us that he was committed for the first 3 Sundays in October, so I just wanted everyone to know that. And this week he's conducting a marriage retreat. So he is very busy and will be back with us next Sunday. And we'll be glad to have him back. We've missed him. Our quiet reflection today is based on what we just saw with one voice. We are one. Welcoming the stranger is a widely taught principle across major religions, emphasized in their sacred texts and traditions to promote compassion and justice for newcomers, refugees, and the marginalized. And that is what we are talking about this morning, and that is what this country is so in need of understanding. In Christianity, this concept is found in the teachings like the parable of the Good Samaritan and the idea of welcoming Christ in the stranger. The Torah contains the most frequently repeated commandment to welcome the stranger who is treated as a protected minority. The story of Abraham enthusiastically welcoming 3 visitors in Genesis 18. The Quran enjoins unconditional hospitality and calls for the protection of the asylum seeker with a guaranteed security. Hinduism, the guest is as God. Buddhism include the concept of loving kindness, extending compassion and care for friends and strangers. And a famous anecdote that is often used in atheist circles is when someone reaches out to you for help, never say, "I'll pray that God will help you." Instead, for that moment, become an atheist. Imagine there is no God who can help and say, "I will help you. May we reflect on those words as we hear the message this morning and discuss our welcoming of the stranger. And now Liz will lead us in our extravagant welcome.
We are all welcome here. Welcome to a community that works for peace, justice, equality, and the care of Mother Earth.
We are all welcome
here.
here.
An extravagant welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed or full of joy.
We are all welcome here.
We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers, striving to learn from and embody the way of Jesus and other spiritual leaders.
We are all welcome here.
We focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address the major issues of our day.
We are all welcome here.
You are invited to share your passion, your inspiration, and your personal story as one of the ways to help heal the world.
We are all welcome here.
Now we come to our time of remembrance, meditation, prayer. We want to remember and add to our list this morning the Catawba Nation that we have learned has been severely hurt, as probably all of our indigenous people and Native Americans across the country, losing funding on their reservation for food and other needs, medical needs, I believe, are also included. We want to remember all of those who are living under the threat and pain of ICE this morning, families who have been separated because of ICE. There is just so much pain in this country right now with so many people being harmed. So we want to take a few minutes to remember this country and what's happening. If you believe in prayer, then use this time for prayer. If not, use it for meditation. Use it for just a few quiet moments. Sometimes we all just need to reflect on ourselves. How can we be better humans on this earth to help these people, to help get this country back on track? And sometimes we just need a few moments to brush off last week and get ready to move into a new week. So however you choose to spend these few moments of quiet, please remember the people in need this morning. Amen. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Hector Vaca Cruz, who has been a longtime friend of mine. I'm sure we met through our mutual friend Alma Hernandez, but I've also been marched with him in the streets, Central Avenue many times. He is a person that, as long as I've known him, has been in the trenches. He's been on the ground. He is a true activist from his very soul. And there's nothing I don't think he would do to help people. So Hector, I've never told you this. I admire you so much. Your stamina, your persistence, your activism, and I'm just glad to have you here with us. He's with Action NC now to help us know what is going on in our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Melba. I mean, I've been very much inspired by you as well. The amount of times I've seen you in the community and everything you do for your community, the fact that you reach out to so many people and just try to create love. So I've been always inspired by you as well.
Thank you.
The reason I am the way I am is because of the fact that I grew up with a father who was an immigrant and he was treated badly in this country, even though he had even though he had paperwork, he was documented. And just my experiences moving from the north to the south, where I went from being a Puerto Rican, Ecuadorian, U.S. citizen to all of a sudden becoming an undocumented Mexican, because people here in the south treat anybody from my skin tone as though we're all Mexican and as though none of us have paperwork. So other reasons I'm like this, or a lot of reasons that I advocate for the community, have to do with the fact that and even under the Obama administration, I was made to strip down by immigration agents to prove I don't have any tattoos, even though I'm a U.S. citizen. So uh, I like to tell people that I am a community organizer rather than an activist. Activists are the people that organizers organize. Activism is doing something without a plan. Organizing is you have a plan. So that's the reason I help develop leaders in the community. So in terms of what's going on right now, you've seen it. Everybody here has seen it. Our community has seen it, and we're seeing a bigger uprising in our country than we've seen in a very long time in terms of defending our immigrant siblings. I use siblings because not everybody identifies under the binary of male or female. Um, so I've seen an uprising, and it warms my heart as a son of immigrant of migrants. I say migrant because not everybody identifies as an immigrant. People migrate here. Some refugees and asylum seekers prefer to be called what they are, an asylum seeker or a refugee, rather than an immigrant, because they see immigration as a purposeful thing, as in you purposely came here rather than um, being forced to come here. Our country has a history of forced migrations. And I feel that's one of the reasons that we're all coming together. Under this current administration, we're seeing something stronger than we've seen in a while since the 50s and the 60s with the Bracero programs, or since the Chinese Exclusion Acts, back when immigrants were being imported to work on the railroads, but yet they were not allowed to be a part of our community. So our country has a long history of this, of forced migrations, a long history of I mean, from the foundings and of forced and of the immigrants being used for their labor versus acknowledging the contributions to this country. I was just listening to something yesterday where somebody was talking about we want the tacos, we want with the lettuce and the guac, the inauthentic stuff like the chipotle, the Qdoba and all that, but we don't want the authentic here. And it breaks my heart to see that, because there's so many people come here bringing rich culture and they make this country. Um, Half this country was a Spanish speaking country before it was English speaking. Spanish has been spoken in this country 100 years longer than English. Then you count the indigenous tribes that have lived here. So our country is a stew, not a melting pot. A melting pot, everything comes together and becomes one flavor. A stew is one thing with many flavors, and you're able to taste the different aspects of it. So yet this, yet this cultural tapestry is being attacked, um, stronger now than it has been in a while. Um, and by the way, I forgot to ask, how long do I have so that I don't go over?
20 minutes about, and then we'll have some questions and conversation.
Okay, great. So I'll shorten it. So um, so some of us in the immigrant justice movement have noticed that yes, things are strong, things are happening right now, but ironically, or not right, but like one interesting thing, at least here in Charlotte, it has not been as bad as it was during the first Trump administration. We have not been out. I remember during the first Trump administration, I was out in the streets every single day, running from one neighborhood to another with my phone, recording what was going on, and other people were doing that. And it's been strong all over the country. There's no denying that. And they're building up their power. But here in Charlotte, it has not been as bad as it's been in other parts of the country and as bad as it's been in the past. Um, so we're thankful for that. Um, Coalitions have been formed here in Charlotte to prepare to, or in case anything happens, or just to deal with what's going on under the leadership of the Hispanic Federation. We have groups like Hispanic Federation, Carolina Migrant Network, which is another group that would be great to speak here. The Landmarking Coalition, Our Bridge for Kids, so many different groups. But yeah, I'm bringing up my laptop for a second. It just timed out, so I can remember all the questions that some of the questions that you had asked me to address. Oh, they're right here in front of me. So I think one of the questions that was posed is what can be done about what's going on right now. But we should also be acknowledging that a lot of the legislation that's being proposed or that's being proposed that's supposedly to stop immigrants from voting or to stop immigrants from accessing certain services are really directed at the American people. The Everything that's being legislated against the immigrant community is actually something that affects the rest of the community. For example, the legislation around immigrants not being able to vote. Immigrants already can't vote. They can't. According to the law, they can't vote. And it's a myth that immigrants vote, that undocumented immigrants vote. But the danger with this legislation is that women will be denied to vote if it's approved, because a lot of, or especially married women or older African Americans, because during the civil rights era with the hospitals being burnt down or many people being born in their homes, not everybody has proof of their last name of who they are. And when women get married, their name changes, and then you have to prove it. Um, so women will lose the right to vote. Many women will lose the right to vote. Many older Black people will lose the right to vote under this. With the other legislation around sanctuary cities, what's going on is that if these things are approved, if these attacks are accepted, we're going to lose services for after school programs, free lunches for children, a lot of health services. So are really all attacks on the community in general. Often we hear that the immigrant community needs to work with other communities in order to win. What we're noticing is that it's actually the other communities that need to come to the immigrant community so we can work together. So all this is feeding into what's going on with ICE and these attacks, because with the big ugly bill, um, money was approved for ICE. Billions of dollars have been approved to build up ICE's infrastructure, to be able to offer bonuses that should be going to our teachers, bonuses like these raises that should be used for programs. And all this is being used to divide us all. But ICE is they're even on Spotify. So if you have Spotify, one simple thing you can do is leave Spotify, find a different music service, because ads are being ran on Spotify. Companies like Home Depot support ICE. Target has been known to contribute to ICE. Contribute to the administration. Home Depot, companies like that don't support FIFA, because FIFA supports the administration. Things like that, those are small things you could be doing to to chip away a little bit at what's going on right now. One of the questions that was posed was had to do with what's going on with the schools here in Charlotte, which I'll get to in a second. Um, but just what's going on with the immigration courts, what's going on here in Charlotte. We have not, as I mentioned before, it's not been as bad as we've seen in the past, but it's about to get bad as they build up their power. one of the question was, how are people going to immigration court? Same, it's not as bad as it's been in other locations. That doesn't mean it's not happening here in Charlotte, um, but it hasn't been reported as much. Immigration agents, over the summer went to different apartment complexes without warrants, anything of the sort. So always be documenting. If you see immigration officials, get out your phones, document it. According to the law, you're able to document. Keep in mind that people who have been recorded have also been under attack by the administration. I've seen elderly people in videos who have been thrown to the ground just for documenting what's going on. But you have a right to it, and you can sue over it. You have a right to go to different protests as long as you're peaceful. As long as you're not impeding they're doing their work, you're able to document. Um, so the been more active. ICE has been more active, and so has the resistance. Do I think that Charlotte should step up its trainings? Yes, Charlotte should be stepping up its trainings, but not just trainings on recording, but trainings on what people's rights are when they protest. What your rights are just walking down the street, because even people, it, let's be honest, if you're not white, ICE will probably stop you, especially if you are as I like to say, is a latte kind of complexion. You're gonna get stopped by ICE. But also trainings on understanding technology and how ICE is actually allocating funding to spying on us on the internet, so that they know who's talking about them. Um, but so you could be working with Action and C on that. We could be working with you and attorneys on trainings on what to do with VCIs and so on. But if you happen to see something, you could also be working with the Carolina Migrant Network. They have a verifier program. So people call a phone number, and somebody from Carolina Migrant Network goes out there and they verify whether it's really a nice operation or not. So that's one thing we could be doing as well. Don't be reporting something on the internet, on social media, unless it's been verified. We don't want to unnecessarily be scaring the community and creating panic. We're dealing with people's lives. Don't scare people for the sake of scaring people. So always verify what you see. In terms of the schools and conflicting information teachers are getting, yes, there is some conflicting, but the schools are saying that they're following the law. According to North Carolina, um, schools have to. They've been working on different legislation to force law enforcement to work with ICE. As we know, several bills have been passed in the House that make the sheriffs collaborate with ICE. But now with the Senate, they're working on a bill to ensure all law enforcement in North Carolina collaborates with ICE, which means possible stops on the street. CMPD already collaborates with ICE, even though they deny it, they collaborate with ICE. For example, the apartment complex on Eastway, where ICE wasn't able to take people, they left and came back with CMPD and a warrant, yeah, after the owner sent them away. And while a reporter was reporting it, the police, CMPD, was intimidating the reporter for recording what was going on. But where I'm going with this is in terms of CMPD, what they've said is that hallways and classrooms are considered private. So other areas are considered public. But so they're allowing ICE on the properties, but they're not allowing nonprofits to conduct Know Your Rights workshops on campus. So you could be pushing for nonprofits. You could be getting the community to call CMS and say nonprofits should be allowed to educate people on their rights, and we demand that you don't allow ICE on the properties. So we just need public backlash. We need public to push back. In terms of the ICE Block app that's been removed by the federal government, they've pressured Apple as well as Google to make sure that these apps get taken out of their stores. In case you haven't seen, the people on the other side have also created a website that looks, because if you go to iceblock.net, I think, or iceout.net, that's the legitimate one. The one that ends .org is for them to capture the immigrants' information. So they've created a fake website that looks like a pro-immigrant thing, but it's not. So pay attention to these things, and you can still access a lot of these apps online, even though they've been taken out. a lot. So we could be pushing these companies to not not back up when the administration puts pressure on them. But even though we can't use these applications, we could still go to their websites, but we could also be working with different nonprofits. I know at Action and See, our immigrants are afraid to come out of the streets, so we're working on mobilizing those who have the ability to be out on the streets. So, by the way, if I sounded like I was talking in circles and jump around, I meant to say this earlier. I do have attention issues, so I have a tendency to jump around. But hopefully you captured what I've been saying. Uh, I'm mostly here for you, so I gave a little bit of information, but I really want to hear from you. What are some of your questions, or what are some of the things that you feel should be addressed?
I just wanted to say I have a number for the Carolina Migrant Network that I believe is the one that you called. Do you have that number?
Let me go to their
What I have is a 5269.
okay,
Make sure everybody has that.
I'm looking at their I mean not their Facebook, the Instagram page, so I can get that number for you.
To call if we see anything unusual.
So I texted them to see if they can give me the number because I forgot it, but they haven't responded yet. So let me see. The phone number is okay. As people ask questions, I will continue looking.
Okay, and I can get it in the newsletter this week, so that
Okay.
we know who to call if we believe we see ICE activity. And locally, that would be good, but I have one and I don't know if it's changed or not. It's 5269 are the last four digits. What other questions do folks have?
I have a question. So, um, there's it seems like there's a lot being done like in the community, and there's organizing and mobilizations happening, which is great, but um I think a lot of folks still feel very helpless. So I wanted to hear from you what you think is actually going to move the needle forward, because the people in positions of power either don't care or are ignoring or actively supporting the horrible things that are going on. So, what do you think is actually going to move the needle forward?
Well, what we're seeing is that honestly, what we're seeing is that a lot of people who voted for this administration have started backing away from it. A lot of people are leaving it. They're saying, "I didn't know this was going to happen. This is not what I voted for." And I feel that that's a wedge we can take advantage of. We can use that to further separate them from this administration because, like with any cult, once you have an opening to help the person start seeing more, take advantage of that to help them see where they've been taken advantage of by the cult so they can separate themselves. I know on the national level, because I also represent Action and See on the board of the largest immigrant justice network in the country, Fair Immigration Reform Movement, Firm Action, I mean. And one thing that we're talking about is figuring out who are the right speakers for the right audience. So if you see, like, for example, if you see somebody who used to be an ex-MAGA person, or even a Republican in general, who happens to agree with you on this subject, on this issue, have them be the one who speaks to their constituency, so they can move them back to this side. And just so you have an understanding of just like how powerful this could be, last year I moderated a panel at the Columbia Museum of Art, and it was for a documentary. It was done from the point of view of a blind person, an undocumented person. And after the panel discussion, a gentleman approached me and said that he's always been a Republican. He voted for Trump in the first administration. He told me that after listening to the panel, um, he changed his mind, and now he was not going to vote for Trump and for the second administration for the second term. So taking advantage of those small little openings we see are a way to do it. Finding the right audience to move a specific constituency.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for being here. I had a question about the school system because I've read the statements from a number of other school systems around the country, And a lot of them make it very clear that students will be safe in our building and we will resist any incursion. We will resist any efforts. You will be safe in our building. We'll do everything to keep you safe. And Charlotte says, well, we'll follow the law. So whatever the law says, that's what we'll follow. So I think the statements they've been putting out are very far from being comforting or reassuring, because what the law says to many people is we're going to get you. So um, I asked you a question about the school system's response, and I just wonder if we can work with the school board to strengthen what they're saying, because everything I've read from them is very weak and very threatening to the what's the percentage of immigrant students in our school system? Maybe 25%. It's fairly high. It's a lot. But what they've said is not helpful as far as I'm concerned. They should look at what other systems have done, but Charlotte's not there.
I agree with you. I agree with you. One thing that a lot of people don't know about the way municipalities and local governments work in North Carolina, some of you probably already know this, and I'm probably just repeating what you already know. But for those that might not know, there's different types of local governments around the country. There's what's called home rule, which basically means that the local government is able to create their own policies. Um, uh, if they're not legislated by the state government, similar to the way the state governments function with the federal government. But in North Carolina, we don't have home rule for local governments. We have what a lot of people are calling Dillon's law, which is really an interpretation of the way the law is working. And so, long story short, the way it works in North Carolina is if the General Assembly is not happy with what a local government entity is doing, the General Assembly can, by law, take away that local government's charter to legislate locally, and they can govern us all the way from Raleigh. So Charlotte in Mecklenburg are the highest target, the biggest target for the General Assembly, because they see this as being the most liberal or progressive city in the states. But so they like going after us, which is why it's so difficult to get things done in Charlotte, because they're afraid of the General Assembly. Our local legislators are afraid. So in terms of them following the law currently says that if an area is private, ICE can't enter. So one way we could push the CMS is to say, okay, anything inside the building is considered private, or the office should be considered private, pushing them to make more areas of the school private. Because if in a public space, ICE is able to be in public spaces. And what CMS is also saying is that the staff will not allow ICE to access any part of the building unless that staff member calls the CMS attorney to go out there and speak with ICE. But as we know, that's not always going to be the case, because some people might be intimidated by ICE, because ICE likes going into a building saying that they have a warrant. And they what they have is an administrative warrant signed by a supervisor, and they'll keep pushing. But I have a warrant. I have a warrant. It's not a judicial warrant. So we could be pushing CMS to make sure that they're ensuring that these are judicial warrants. In the end, the way we can make a difference also is letting them know, I'm sorry, you're going to lose this next election. And as a community, vote out these elected officials that refuse to side with us. We could also be pushing locally, or we could be pushing locally to do what's been done in other municipalities where they made it illegal for ICE agents to wear masks. Um, so otherwise they get arrested. That just finished happening in Chicago. So we could be pushing things like that. They'll be difficult to get past, but those are the things we should be passing. So take advantage of current legislation and push them, understanding that there are certain things that they will be afraid to do. So one thing we've been doing differently is talking to them and telling them, using positive language with them, like we want you to be a hero for the community. You will be such a hero for the community if you do this and this and this. Make them feel good about doing the right thing versus making them feel bad for doing the bad thing. Kind of like we do with dogs. We give them a treat when they do the right thing and they learn faster.
Yeah, yeah. We did write a letter to the school board
Mhm.
months ago when this first started. I just want you to know that Wedgwood did in support of immigrants and ICE not coming on campus. So I think we need to follow up with that with some action now, and I
Mhm.
appreciate your sharing that with us. I read this week that somewhere, and I wish I remembered the spot, it just popped in my head, that a court had ruled that ICE agents could not go into immigration courts and arrest people who are there for their required lawful legal check-in. And that if ICE agents show up in an immigration court for that purpose, they will arrest the ICE agent. Do
Oh,
you know any more about that than what I just said?
Um, yes. I mean, well, not really. I don't know much more, but what I can say is first off, uh, correction to something I said earlier, the no mask thing is in California, not Chicago, my mistake. So in terms of the ICE agents in the courts, what the judges are saying is that regardless of your status, um, if you're following the law and you have an act, you have a right, no matter who you are, you have a right to due process. You have a right to be able to go to court. And if you're following the rules and you go in there, you're going to court for your check-in, you should not be penalized for that. You shouldn't have ICE agents waiting for you outside. So which is why they're saying that at least in Chicago, they can't go into the courts to look for people. That doesn't mean ICE won't be out on the street because what these orders say, basically it protects anything from the steps up. It doesn't protect the sidewalk. So ICE agents will probably be waiting on the sidewalks. So which is why we need to mobilize people and have people waiting on the sidewalks to document what's going on, um, and just make sure. And I feel at least that we should all be brave enough to form circles around people and help them
Mm-hmm.
to get away. Well, let me rephrase that. Help them to move on to where they need to be. Uh,
Yeah.
he said, help them get away.
I don't need to be
I know what
instigating
you mean.
like fights
I,
here.
I know what you
We
meant.
need to help them to
Yeah.
get to where they need to be
Yeah. Safely.
safely.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you should confront an immigration agent because you could be arrested for that, and you also risk violence against you for that. Um, so with this vindictive regime right now, it could be dangerous for you to do that. But yeah, so we could be pushing for something like that here in Charlotte. Keeping in mind though that the immigration judges in Charlotte are known for being conservative. So I'm not sure if we can get something like that happening here, but maybe we can push for a higher entity to do like a regional or a district-wide thing. Maybe that's something we could all work on together.
That'd be awesome. Have they gone into the courts here in Mecklenburg County?
I've maybe heard one or two instances since the summer, but truthfully, Charlotte has been very, very quiet compared to other places. Nowhere near as the way it was back in the first
Yeah.
administration.
Other questions? And we will need to be in conversation about how we can move forward on some of these things and take some action. We talked about the march yesterday, and it's kind of like, okay, that was great. Now what?
Mhm.
Just the march is not enough. The march has got to be followed up with action.
I had another question about um, the general perception that immigrants in Charlotte are overwhelmingly Latino, but I don't know that that's true. And I think that I wonder if the immigrant community is unified or if it's split by language or country of origin, or is everybody acting together, or are they separate? I know Carolina Migrant Network works with immigrants from every locale and with every language, but I don't know if all the other groups are focused on unifying.
Well, first off, Latinas really are the biggest group. That's hard to dispute. But doesn't mean that I mean you're right. We're a mixed community, the immigrant community. Um, So that there is also the coalition. There is also another coalition that's been created here in Charlotte, in addition to the Latina one I mentioned earlier with the Hispanic Federation, to which Carolina American Network belongs as well as Action and C. We've started a coalition around uniting the labor unions together with the immigrant justice movement as well as the environmental movement and other movements. And what that's doing is bringing in groups from different ethnicities and nationalities as well. For example, SEAC, the Southeast Asian Coalition, is part of this affiliation we've created. Carolina American Network, Action and C. There's the PSL. Some of you have noticed them. They're young people. They've been doing a lot of the pro-Palestine rallies here in Charlotte. So they brought in the Palestinian as well as other Middle Eastern communities into this. So little by little, it's growing. The biggest issue is that since the administration and much of the government policies have been targeting majority Latinos, people have a perception that it's all Latinos. In a way, the Latinos or Latinas are kind of playing the role that the African American community played during the civil rights
Yep.
era, where it was a lot of communities of color were being affected, but the front line was the Black community because at that moment it was the most affected. It was the one that was the most obvious attacks, but the Black community fought for everybody else. And right now, the immigrant community, including the Latinas, are fighting for everybody and bringing in everybody else. And the Latinas have been the front line because we're the biggest group. But yes, it's growing. I know that was a very long-winded answer, but we are growing. We are bringing people together. There's still work to be done because some groups feel that it doesn't affect them. Some groups might be more conservative. And it doesn't hurt that we have, and it also hurts, doesn't help that we also have conservative groups within those groups, within those communities that are pro this administration, that are telling people that if you criticize the administration, you're doing something wrong. And I can't speak for other communities, but in the Latina communities, we also have quote unquote leadership that says you're new here, your visitors, be respectful, and telling people that they shouldn't say anything about what's going on. So, in groups like, I hesitate to mention groups by name, but this is one that people should be careful with, is Jesus Ministry. They're very much pushing people to support this administration, and they say that Trump is the way to immigration reform.
Mm.
Or groups like the Latina branch of the Koch brothers network, Libre Initiative. They are a very bad organization, bringing in Latinos into into the Koch brothers messaging. So long-winded, and I'm gonna end it right here. It's growing. People are coming together, but we also need to keep track of these groups that are dividing us.
Mm-hmm. There's always people like that out there, trying to change the mindset in a bad way. That's always been opposition.
Mm-hmm.
Always. So how do you do that? How do you keep track of all these organizations to find out which ones are helping or hurting?
Often I go to their events just so I can hear what they have to say,
Oh, okay.
and see if that there are other groups there that I should be keeping an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Because one thing that I've also recognized is that you are not firm in your beliefs if you are wanting to do the la 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 la, la I don't want to hear it, I don't want to hear it mentality. Sometimes you go to their events to hear what they have to say. That way you know how to tailor your arguments, but
Right.
also you're not firm in your beliefs, you're not willing to hear what the other side has to say.
Not
And
open
you're not willing to
minded.
debate it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I go to those events just to hear and just educate yourself on it so you can educate others.
Mm-hmm.
And then create community, talk to people, ask them how they feel. Because people don't want to be preached at.
Right.
People want to feel like their opinions are valued. Ask questions. And if you disagree with it, respond with a question. Okay, if that's true, why? And then help them understand by asking them questions so they arrive at the conclusion that you're obviously leading them to. But but they arrive to it on their own, and then they agree with you.
Yes, through conversation.
Exactly.
So you literally have your boots on the ground.
It's fun because I mean, I'm also listening to stories by doing photography, so I go out and listen to people's stories. And
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And I'm going to be talking to you the first of the year, and we're going to get you back again because there's so much we need to learn, and you've just got such a wealth of information. So we appreciate it. And Ashanti now has a closing song for us that we are looking forward to. It's a Bob Marley song, Get Up, Stand Up.
Yes, thank you, Hector, for all that you do. And you got your boots on the ground out there in the streets doing what needs to be done. We appreciate all that you do for the community.
Thank you.
This song, Get Up, Stand Up by Bob Marley, is fundamentally about resistance and dignity. Let me see, something happened okay, there it goes. It calls on people to actively defend their rights rather than passively accepting the oppression. Marley wrote this song with a sense of urgency, the idea that standing up for justice isn't optional, it's necessary. The song emerged from his Rastafarian beliefs and his commitment to social justice. I'm sure you know this song. Sing along with me if you like. Listen to the words. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Listen, preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. Is that all that glitter is gold? Half that story have never been told. But now you see the light. You better stand up for your rights. Sing it, y'all. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Everybody. Get up, stand up. Life is your right. Get up, the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your rights. Come on, people. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Listen, most people think great God will come from the skies, take away everything, make everybody feel high. But you don't know what life is worth. You should look for yours on earth. And now you see the light. You better stand up for your right. Come on, people, now get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Everybody now. Yeah, don't give up the fight. Come on, people, get up, stand up. It's time. Everybody now, get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Listen. We're sick and tired of the ism schism game. Dying go to heaven for the Jesus thing. We've all known there's a mighty man and a loving man. You can fool some people sometimes. You can't fool the people all the time. You just gotta get up, stand up. What you gonna do? Get up, stand up. Get up for your right. Everybody. Your life is your right. Oh, 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 oh. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, people. Stand up for your rights. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, people. Get up, people. Stand up for
And we appreciate any support you can give to Wedgwood. As you know, we are not in a building, so we aren't paying upkeep buildings. We're not buying new stained glass windows or renovating bathrooms. We use our money to help people for social justice. So anything that you can share with Wedgwood, we appreciate. Thank you. And we always have a call to action. We believe that we sit and we listen and we march. And what do we do? What are we going to take from what we've learned this morning and do this week?
Are you asking us individually?
Just anybody, yeah. What is our call to action this week? Certainly, we have to be stronger and braver to speak up for our immigrant community. When we hear people spreading lies that we know that's not true, we
Right.
know they can't vote, we know they're not getting all those services they believe they're getting, we have to speak up. What else can we do with what we've learned this morning?
Well, I mean, there's a number of resources here in Charlotte, so spreading the word about those resources and the work that those community organizations is doing and connecting folks with those resources.
Yes, follow some of these organizations on Facebook. You'll learn so much.
And do maybe what Hector does. He goes to whatever rallies or whatever information that, he sees different things going on. He goes to see what's going on and see what they're actually saying. And then you can be up to date on the information because everything is changing, every day. Something's changing, new information, false information, fake news, so.
And we're
stay
going to
abreast
talk
of
about
everything.
the school board contacts and some of those things as well. All right, we always like to try to end on positive notes because we talk about so many things and some of them can get very depressing because we're all disturbed by what's going on in this country. But we ought to end on, there were some good things that happened this week. Anybody have anything you want to share, a good thing that happened this week?
Well, the good thing that happened, we went to the march yesterday and it was beautiful out. It was a beautiful day. It was a lot of people, a lot of support, people on the same page. It was peaceful. It was no trouble. So that was really great. We were there, Wedgwood was there with our signs, and Tom made some fabulous signs. Thank you, Thomas,
Yes,
for those
thank you.
beautiful signs. Those are great signs. Took a lot of time and detail. So that was good. That was all good. We were together.
Well, this is Connie Green Johnson. I completed my lit drop of 300 houses this week,
Oh
and
my.
also I chose not to. That was a good thing. I chose not to go uptown. I stayed in my little small corner of Route 51 and Matthews Mid Hill. We had about this time we had about I guess about 16 or 18 people at each four of the four corners. And
Okay.
we got a lot of horns honking.
All right. That's
That's
great.
awesome.
That is great. It's a lot of good things happening. This week, I want you all, see on the date, it is the 22nd. Would you all think of me in the morning, me and Coochie in the morning and afternoon? Coochie's going to get neutered, and I'm a little anxious about it. Why? I'm not sure, but I'm sure everything will be okay. But just say a little prayer for my babe, please.
Yeah.
Maybe say a little prayer for me. I'm the one that's anxious. He doesn't know what's going on.
And also the most positive thing is during this municipal race, we're up about 52% of the votes in early voting, and that's a
Oh,
good thing.
That's awesome. Yeah,
okay.
go vote. Go
Go
vote. The
vote.
Amen.
early polling
I
is
mean,
all over.
normally this municipality vote turnout is very, very low, but we need now
Mm,
to, especially here in Matthews, we've got We've got a MAGA group that is running. So
Oh,
I'm working fiercely to see that those people do not get elected.
mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Miss Connie, for all that you do out there.
Got to keep doing it for the greater
Mm-hmm.
good,
Yeah.
for my
Yeah.
grandchildren and other children,
Yes.
another generation.
Yes.
It was great to see Hector. I hadn't seen him in a while. Alma introduced me to
Busy.
Hector years and years ago.
We have some great news this morning from
Yes.
the waterfowl rescue that spoke at Wedgwood a
Yeah.
few weeks ago. Liz, there's a little video on there. They were brought a little bunting that was lost from Florida, and his wing was injured. So I want you to hear the success story that they have. They just spoke a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a good talk. Back to the bottom.
Now that should make us all smile. That beautiful
Yeah.
little bird ended up all the way in Charlotte with a broken wing, and they got somebody with a private plane to fly him back home to Florida. So
Great.
what a great story that was. Our closing words this morning. We marched and we protested yesterday. May we continue to stand strong for democracy and justice. May we each be stronger advocates for our refugees. May we be people who, without any hesitation, speak, serve, and fight for their rights. May we be stirred to action. Bless the hands of migrant workers who harvest our food, build our homes, and serve this nation.
That's right.
Let us remember to always honor their labor. Protect families who are torn apart by deportations. May they be reunited and soften the hearts of those in power doing these horrible, horrible acts. May we have the courage to speak up, to break the stigma against undocumented people. Help us see them as friends and neighbors, not as outsiders. Help us to embrace migrant families without any prejudice, and may our kindness bridge every divide. May it be so. Amen.
Amen. Ashe. We extinguish this flame, but we keep the light in our hearts with this message of love and justice, and taking it outside of the walls into the world in which we live in. Until we see each other again, amen, ashe, and may it be. Now go in peace.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Hector. We're going to get together for coffee
Thanks,
soon.
Hector.
We need to talk more.